On this episode of AV Week, manufacturers co-opetition, low energy displays, and what's the video conferencing outlook for 2023 and beyond. All that and more next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
We can't say the future without AI. I mean, there's no way around it. 50% of workers now believe AI is going to improve their experience. When I come into the meeting room, I need a way to incorporate my AI with what's going on in the meeting. It's almost a bring your own AI type of a concept. Most of what we do in our day-to-day is going to change significantly.
Hear the latest AV trends and predictions in this episode of Crestron's Smarter Spaces podcast on your preferred podcast platform.
This is AV Week, episode 601, recorded Friday, February 24th, 2023. Pardon our mess. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audiovisual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss the news and information we have gathered this week, first and foremost, Fernando Mora. Fernando is from the 9/11 Museum in beautiful New York, New York. Welcome, sir.
Glad to be back.
Also with us is Rebecca Sullins. Rebecca is with Clair Global Integration. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
And last but not least, the sage of the AV industry. That's Brock. Bradford gave you that name, so I have to say it. I'm legally obligated. Brock McGinnis from Nationwide up in Toronto. Welcome, sir.
Great to be back, Tim.
So really quickly, before we get started, the AVNation Reader's Choice Awards 2022 was posted this last Tuesday. Congratulations to all the winners. A special congratulations to our buddy and pal, Frank Paticalla, who was voted by you, not me, not Mitchell, although Mitchell probably did vote for Frank, for the AVNation AV Professional of the Year. So congratulations there. And thank you for going out and voting. Thousands of people came in and let us know what you thought of the best products, the best services, and obviously one of the best people in the industry. So thank you so much. You can check that out on the website. First story comes to us. PPDS has a new zero power Tableau series of digital signage displays. This new series of displays uses e-paper technology to reduce power consumption and offers a quote-unquote sustainable solution for businesses. The displays use zero energy, when showing a static image and only consume power when updating the image. The Zero Power Tableau series also features wireless connectivity, high contrast ratios, and wide viewing angles, making them suitable for a range of applications. PPDS is positioning this display as a solution for businesses looking to reduce their carbon footprint and lower energy costs while maintaining a quote-unquote higher quality digital signage experience. Brock, I'm going to start with you on this. This is not the first low energy. This is not the first green AV that we've seen on the market, but it is the latest, and the carbon footprint part is what caught my ear there. Where does green AV fit? Where does it matter, whether it's just a display or another device? Where do lower energy consumption, or just overall green AV devices matter right now?
Once upon a time when we were doing involved in projects in LEED buildings, and we were trying to get innovation points. We worked real hard at designing systems with high efficient, low energy devices. And then we found out that really didn't matter the way that the LEED folks did their scoring. I think that this is a real hot button in Europe right now. Electricity prices have skyrocketed. Supply has been limited. Has a lot to do with the conflict currently going on between Russia and Ukraine, and how the rest of the European community has responded to that. So I know in Germany and possibly in other countries, they're actually limiting the amount of time that public displays can be turned on.
Yep.
And so e-paper doesn't consume any energy because it has no backlight. It's a mirror. It's a reflective technology, and it uses the sunlight or light from other sources inside in order to be able to work. And it's actually it's actually brilliant. I think of Philips or PPDS, whatever.
PPDS is what they're called now.
Correct. It's Philips with one L. That's all I remember. And I think it's brilliant of them to be marketing in this manner, even though it's not really the same as a backlit or direct view display.
My whole entire thought process while I was sort of reaching this or reading about this new technology is, where is the practical limitation of it? Because, as Brock stated, it doesn't take any power when it's static. It is a bistable technology, but it does take, you have to plug it in to update it, right? Because that's when it consumes its power. It's just like your Kindle. It only consumes power when you're flipping pages. But that means that you have to take it off, plug it in somewhere, move it, update it, and then hang it back up. This is not going to be practical for any of the large-scale installations. So I don't think that a technology like this is so much going to take the place of existing signage technologies as it is have people upgrade from posters in small businesses. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a new market. I don't think in most places it's going to be able to take the place of the existing signage market.
Yeah, I agree with that. Philips was at the dawn of the flat screen world, as I remember back in the 90s with their commercials. But like she said, it depends on how often you want to update it. If it's a temporary sign, for my application, it would be perfect. For example, I would like to put in a place in which I don't need power. I can just take this, bring it from one place to the other. Maybe as a temporary sign, maybe if in the museum, for example, if there is a scenario in which we're building an exhibit and we just want to put up a screen saying, excuse us while we recreate this particular exhibit, something along those lines.
Pardon our mess.
Pardon our mess, something along those lines. Then, whenever it's done, we can move it, change whatever the content is on it. I'm not sure how bright, how many nits this thing is.
It's not
difficult.
any. It's a reflective technology.
It's a reflective technology. So nits, literally there's no nits, so imagine. So it's not how perceptively bright it is to someone. I guess is probably the question.
And there you go. That's the other thing. Like, it could never take the place of most of the signage that I work with, because I'm working on a project right now that has 627 displays in it, most of which are menu boards or, signage, stuff like that, which in theory, these could function as, but in practicality, nobody's going to go around and take down 500 of these things every month when they update their prices and or offerings, right?
So it's perfect for a temporary space.
So that becomes a problem. Also, you have to take into account, just like you said, the environmental factors, because you can't guarantee how much light is going to be in whatever environment you're putting this in, right? It is only as good as the lighting you provide to it. So there's so many more variables in this kind of technology.
Let me throw this out there, and I got I couldn't. I think it's a neat technology, but I'm not attached to PPDS or Philips for any stretch of the imagination. Could you not replace an existing display with this and simply plug it in, and it only draws power when it needs to, right? And I'm thinking back when we first started using iPads or control systems, right? For control displays, there was several stories about, the problem with using an iPad is you have to have constant power to it. Well, they solved that problem. It didn't mean that the iPad remained a good use for control systems, but you could in theory, right? I mean,
my first thought about that would be ergonomics. It's not designed to function like that. So like the plug probably comes out the side, and it's probably got a big wall wart, because this thing is meant to be super flat and hang on a wall, right? So my guess would be it's not built to do that. If people start using them in that manner, they may change the design. But just like trying to install an iPad, you've got the plug on the side and then you've got this giant brick. Like, that's not conducive to most installation.
There are meeting room information displays that already use this technology, and they are PoE driven. and have a little network jack that sticks out the back, and they sit there and consume no electricity, but they're updated regularly. Data is pushed to them at the same time as power is available. So there's very it's just the amperage draw is minute on them. And they're consuming far less electricity than a standard backlit LCD screen.
Sure.
And there are menu boards are actually one of the best uses of them, because the lighting already exists at the counter where that will reflect on them, and as long as you've got a way to update them, that they are designed with. And I have to think that the people at
PPDS, bro.
Yes, thank you. They're very clever people, and I got to think that they've got that figured out without physically having to manipulate. It's a start, Rebecca.
Yeah, and I think that the technology, the technology inherent in this product line is valuable. I don't think that the product as shown, as designed currently, has as many uses as we would like it to, right?
No, Fernando, you're in your world, the exhibit world. You'll have something up for 6 or 8 or 10 months, and that piece of signage may never change.
Yeah.
For particular exhibits, yes, that is the case. But it's such a niche product that I suspect that this is the first of many. So the next iteration, and the further iterations will probably be the things that we would purchase. Maybe not this product in particular for us. Again, other than a temporary sign in which I don't need power, I'm not sure that I would utilize something like this yet. But it's intriguing. I can't imagine how much we spend on all our LCDs. We have it's probably in the hundreds of LCDs and projectors running at any one time.
Yeah.
Or how much you're paying on 8x10 pieces of paper that say pardon our mess. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right, next story comes to us from our friends over at AV Magazine. The growth of the video conferencing market is expected to slow down in the coming years. This is according to a report by Future Source Consulting. The report predicts that the global video conferencing market will grow by just 2.6% this year, compared to an estimated 6.2% growth in 2022. The slower growth is attributed to the saturation of the market, as many organizations have already implemented video conferencing solutions due to a little thing called COVID. However, the report also notes that there are still opportunities for growth in such areas as collaboration and hybrid working. Rebecca, start with you on this. Where are you seeing the adoption of video conferencing today and maybe for this year?
I have worked from home since before it was cool to do so. So I've watched the growth of the video conferencing firsthand. When I first started working from home, it was not great. Let's go back in 2010. Think way back in 2010. And so what I see now is everybody has 47 platforms ready to go, right? I constantly use Zoom, Teams,
260
whatever.
last count, by the way. There are 260 VC platforms.
Jeez. And how many can we name off the top of our heads? I could name a dozen, right? That are the big players. Now, and just like any other product, we have hit not only a saturation point, but a lack of return of investment, right? Nobody's come out with a video conferencing platform that does anything new or special. They might do it slightly better than another video conferencing platform, but basically, video conferencing platforms as a whole is a concept where once you find one that works for you, you're not going to go out and hunt down another one because it might do something slightly better. You're just not. So the only way we're going to start seeing growth again in this category is if somebody comes up with a really, really awesome new feature. And there hasn't been any of that since the adoption of being able to control someone's screen with Microsoft Teams 3 years ago. That was the last big advancement. So I don't know where they go from here, but somebody's got to have the next big idea.
All right. Fernando, same question is where are you seeing it, either internally or among your compatriots, where are you seeing the adoption?
Well, for us, it's grown by leaps and bounds. Everyone, for the most part, we were home for 2 years, and as soon as people returned to the office, that's the first thing they wanted to do. They wanted to meet in our meeting rooms and use this technology. So, at the time it was difficult to find product. Now, at this point, product is easier to find. Although I would say the integrators or the manufacturers that keep in mind that a lot of these systems are going to go in existing conference rooms. That was one of the biggest pain points that I had when I first started looking for solutions like this. They were all USB based connectivity. So I'm not going to run wires on the floor. So the ones that took into the idea, said, listen, we're gonna use cat cable to do our connectivity, which allows people like us that had a ton of cat cable around the conference room to connect these systems and make them work. So we're still building, although we've pretty much fitted out all of our conference rooms. Now I'm in the museum space, right? So we're into the entertainment part of AVs, which is somewhat different from the corporate AV vertical. So my expertise is somewhat limited.
All right, Brock, a trick question for you, and take either side of this. What markets have reached their max? What markets have been completely saturated, or what markets are there still opportunities for growth for soft codec and video conferencing?
I think that the consulting report is nonsense.
Okay.
There's the people like Microsoft and Zoom may not sell a lot more licenses, but there are a lot more places in the world that need the systems. There are still a lot of classrooms, a lot of meeting spaces, both in enterprise and in small and medium businesses, where they're just figuring it out now. There are people working from home 4 days a week, and they come into the office and they can't get anything done because they can't meet with the others who are still working from home. And I think that there's still a tremendous amount of growth and then room for refinement. I've been sitting in on demos for Barco's new ClickShare CX50 Gen 2, which is a dual screen. It enables dual screen conferencing wirelessly. And I've been at 2 demos with clients, and they are out of their minds. They're so excited that we can go back to splitting people and content on 2 different displays without having to buy a Cisco or a Poly or a life-size codec. And spend that, for low dollars, they can go back to this 2-screen thing. And that is going to change people's lives. So this whole soft conferencing world or the enablement of us to have meaningful collaboration and meetings with people wherever we happen to be is a gazillion miles from saturation.
Well, and I think we're also seeing, all growth is relative. We as audio people know that as well as anybody. We live in the relative scale. But we saw such a gigantic boom during COVID that now the growth may seem small, but it's still growing, right?
Oh, yeah, I find that 2% number a little right. Hard to believe.
If we hadn't had COVID, we'd still be in the 10 to 12% range, right?
Well, and percentage doesn't matter because 2% might mean 50 million units, whereas
it's all relative, as she said.
50 million units was 25% 5 years ago.
Exactly. So, hence, it's all our base measurement went way up in the last 3 years. So
yeah. I think that the most significant change is that in a very short period of time, we are going to be unwilling to pay anyone for soft conferencing services. and Mr. Microsoft and Mr. Zoom can go and pound salt as soon as somebody gives us another free version or freemium version that offers the same degree but that's just me.
So before we move on, I do want to take a moment to recognize the incredible audio engineer joke that Rebecca just put out there. So I'm barely smart enough to
about the inverse square law.
Yes.
I try.
So
Yeah.
All right. Last story comes to us from our website, AVNation.tv. There is a brand spanking new partnership between 4A and Aveco to combine their respective technologies to offer a comprehensive solution for broadcast production automation. And this is why we're doing it, because I still love control. 4A provides switchers, servers, and graphics, while Aveco specializes in automation and media asset management. This partnership aims to provide a quote-unquote complete solution that combines the strengths of both companies. This enables broadcasters to automate their workflows, manage their media assets, and create high-quality content efficiently. Article also notes that the integration of production automation and media asset management is becoming increasingly important in the broadcast industry. And I also point out that increasingly corporate is getting into broadcast, so that's going to be a factor as well. Fernando, I want to start with you on this. This article to me is not just about the media workflow, but also about getting companies to cooperate together, or co-opetition, as a number of really smart folks have written about over the years. Really quickly, a reminder, Fernando works at the 9/11 Museum, so he is 100% in the AV user space, even though he kind of manages that. How do you get, Fernando, companies to work together to produce a solution that you can't find on one vendor by yourself? So you're looking at something and like, Fernando's like, I need this, but I need these two companies to work together to get this.
Yeah, so my personal approach is finding out whatever the pain point might be. Going to YouTube University, or to do the research, or trade shows are places that I make a lot of contacts, even contacts that I may not need them now, but in the future, I'll hold on to their card. And when a particular topic comes up where, you know what, I need this particular solution, I'll look to my Rolodex. Oh, I remember I met so-and-so and this other person. Then, because my approach is to go directly to manufacturers for solutions. And then once we figure out what the solution might be, then at that point I would go to an integrator, and an integrator would come in and then fill out whatever missing pieces that we may have. So that's my particular approach. With regards to things, you mentioned this foray. Right now, we personally use new tech TriCasters, and because of they have what some of us will call a killer app with their NDI video streaming protocol, that 100%. It's so easy to use, and it just works. So that's my approach. That's my approach to it.
Big fan of new tech as well. So yeah, Brock, same kind of question though, but from the integrator side, you're seeing an issue, you're seeing a problem that a client has brought up. You need to go to two different manufacturers and get them to cooperate together. How do you do that?
No interest.
They don't have an interest.
No, I have no interest.
You have no interest, guys.
You called me an integrator.
Yes.
That is what integrators do, and that's what we've been doing.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
That's what we've been doing forever. Is take disparate protocols, products from multiple manufacturers, and making them work together. And I think it's fantastic though when manufacturers like a 4A realize that they're going to have difficulty competing against Ross, or competing against Evertz, or competing against, I just mentioned the Canadian companies first, NewTek.
Grass Valley, NewTek.
Grass Valley, yeah.
And they say, you know what? We would be way better off if we put those APIs already in place or co-marketed, and we're able to offer a client a complete end-to-end solution. Not just gathering the content, or not just controlling the content, but being able to route it and store it and archive it. And I think that part of it is terrific. And smaller businesses really need to be to be doing that, to leverage what they've got in conjunction with what they don't have. You don't think that One Beyond has a little bigger customer base right now because they've been working together with the company that bought them? Oh my gosh, the highlight of ISE.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Rebecca, last question for you on this. What are the drawbacks of some of this co-opetition or this cooperation between companies?
Oh, that's easy. Pigeonholing, i.e., I'm not going to mention any names, but we all know that there are some integrators that have, and to pull in conversation number 2 here, have adopted specific protocols for video conferencing with their hardware, right? Two manufacturers come together and they make a solution. Now, the big problem here is that means that their hardware only is made to work with that one protocol. So what happens when, oh crap, well, I know this hardware works really well, but I can't use it because this company uses this other conferencing platform, right? You're typecasting every time. You're stereotyping, you're stuck. The second big problem, and this was one that I ran into a few years ago, again, it was a hardware company with a software company. And then both pieces were shipped to the reseller who then put those two pieces together. Okay, so we're dealing with 3 companies. When something goes wrong, no one will take responsibility for the item as a whole. No, you have no one to call, no tech support. The hardware people blame it on the software people. The software people blame it on the hardware people, and everybody blames it on the guy that puts it together before they sold it to you. So no one will fix the problem. I spent 3 days troubleshooting a problem that in the end took me 27 minutes to fix because no one would tell me what the answer was. I hate it. Give me specs on the individual things and I'll put it together in the end. Give me a computer, give me the software, and I'll do it. At least that way I know which components belong to whom and who I need to go to troubleshoot.
All right. That's awesome. A good place to stop. Thank you guys so much. Mr. Brock McGinnis, always good to see you, sir. We appreciate your time. How do people connect with you or Nationwide?
I'm on Twitter, but a lot more seldom these days, at Brock McGinnis. And we are nationwideav.com operating in Canada and enjoying some of the busiest times of my career, Tim.
Wow.
It's crazy out there. People need help communicating, and it's a great time to be in the AV business.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Fernando, thank you, sir. How do people connect with you, or how do they find out more about the 9/11 Museum?
Go to our website, 911memorial.org, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I don't do the Twitters, so that's
probably best at this point. I mean,
yeah, I know. It helps my sanity.
I still have one, but eventually Elon will probably shadow ban me as well.
Well, that's a touchy subject right there, that gentleman.
Rebecca, always good to see you, ma'am. How do people connect with you or Clair Global Integration?
ClairGlobal.com. You can find us there. You can always email me, rsullins@ClairGlobal.com. I am on both the Twitter and the LinkedIn, so you can find me anywhere that you like. I think I'm even on TikTok somewhere, but nobody needs to follow that. You can also come see me at InfoComm this year. I'll be paneling, presenting, all sorts of things. So come find me. If you've gotten any of your certificates in the last 18 months, I'm the lovely lady with signature on the bottom, so you can come say hi.
Absolutely.
And that's about it.
Are you're the chair of the certification committee?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm the first female chair of the certification committee too. So
I need to renew mine, so I can get your autograph.
Do it.
Is Greg Rushton still on your committee?
Yes, he is. In fact, we just had onboarding this week, and he was still there. So, Tim, you say you want my signature. What's really funny is they resent me mine just so that I would have my own signature on my certificates, and I'm going to frame them and keep them forever. I don't care if they expire.
I was a CTS in 2001, 2000. I think I need to update mine.
Yeah, just to get Rebecca's signature.
See? Do it.
And I will say that my dear friend Jeremy Caldera did the exact same thing, Rebecca, when he was the chair, just so he could have his.
I had to. I find it amusing.
Well, thank you so much for volunteering for Avixa. I think that's a wonderful thing, and it's great for the rest of us in the industry. We appreciate
Well, I have this problem, Brock, in that I need to be right a lot. I'm an AV nerd. I'm an engineer. You know the type. I also have a lot of brothers, so I'm very competitive. And after I took my CTS test, I was like, some of these questions are kind of bullshit. We need to talk about this. So I started volunteering and got some of those questions changed. And now, 15 years later, here I am.
Well, I was like Fernando. I let mine lapse after 20 years or whatever, and I rewrote it a couple of years ago, and I laughed because even now she ain't perfect.
No, but we're trying. I swear to God.
Yes, I know you are. No, we've our company has put 2 people through CTSD and 1 through CTSI in the last 14 months or 15 months.
Oh, you're not really cool until you have both.
No, one of them has both.
Okay.
Yeah.
A CTSD and a CCNA, those 2 are pretty cool together.
And he is.
I want those ones too.
Yeah,
that would
So,
be cool.
And Tim, how are you?
Yeah.
Better than I deserve, sir. Better than I deserve. For Tim Albright, do not follow me, even though I am on the Twitters. But go by the website if you would, please. AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. You'll find this program and a host of others. Rebecca said you could find her at Infocom. Infocom registration is now open. It is, of course, the 10th through the 16th of June. The 14th, 15th, and 16th is the days, or are the days of the show itself. But beforehand, you could get yourself educated and prep for that very CTS test and then get Rebecca's signature. So you can check that out on the website as well. Also, exactly. We also have a brand new EdTech coming down the pipeline. We just posted a new Women in AV, so check all of that out and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the time we have for AV Week.